up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Healthy Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. We are your drinking buddies. I am at Ref Marsh. With me today for Thursday Night Chaser, we got the huge, the regulars, the norms. Go ahead and say hello, Crybaby Klump.
Oh, hey, how's it going, guys?
That's how he sounds. That sounds normal to me. Go ahead and say hello, Miss Amanda Jane.
Well, hello.
How you guys doing? You guys...
You know,
Okay. Yeah.
not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad.
What's with your weird accent, Marsh?
Is it, well, because I'm not doing my producer voice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man, Thursday Night Chaser's a bit of a weirder show than it used to be. It used to be a lot going on. I feel like both AEW and NXT 2.0 have cooled down
Yes.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when I was reviewing I was kind of going over the recaps and looking at everything that happened on both shows. And I was like, I guess there's topics. Like, nothing's fiery or exciting, or nothing's even so deep that you're like, let's dive into this. It's just a lot of like, I guess we'll see how that turns out. You know what I mean? But we'll get into that. We will get into that. I'm going to start with something a little bit simple. We're going to start with a little bit of what's in your glass. Let's start off with Crybaby Klump. What are you drinking, Klump?
I got me some water, and I got me some coffee, or as you like to say, milk with coffee in it.
Oh, yeah, that melted ice cream, basically. I mean, you could probably get away with getting a coffee Haagen-Dazs and just letting it melt, drinking
Yeah, but I
it.
put no sugar in it. Like, everyone thinks it's like sugar. No, I don't like my coffee sweet. It's bitter and angry.
Oh, I got you, just creamy.
Exactly.
Bitter and angry coffee.
Bitter and angry.
Yeah, no, that sounds right to me. That's awesome. That's awesome. Miss Amanda Jane, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm corporate Amanda again. So I have my heroin, Coca-Cola, regular.
Oh.
Yes.
You could do like they did in Always Sunny in Philadelphia and put wine inside of a soda can.
Yeah. I've often thought of that. But you know what? I'd rather do vodka and water bottles.
Ooh.
You could just keep adding rum to it until it's just a
Well,
can
you
of
do
rum.
rum too, but you smell the rum. You don't smell vodka.
I
We were
smell
just
vodka.
watching.
Maybe
Yeah,
I drink
smell
cheaper vodka.
It depends on the vodka.
I don't know. Maybe
That
I'm
is true.
immune.
I think that, well, I mean, it does depend on the vodka, but we were just watching last night Seinfeld, and we saw the episode where they had that scotch that they thought was crazy because no one could smell it, Hannigan's, so now I'm thinking about that. The Kramer commercials for it. Just in Time coming through. Cheers, my dive bar friends. Cheers to you, Just in Time. Yeah, I was real on the fence of getting him back today because I was like, he might have a lot more to say about NXT and AEW than any of us.
Oh, shit.
Yep. But I am having, let me tell you what I'm drinking, because we're still fighting for that sponsorship as we go. I have myself a Sonic Ocean Water Hard Seltzer. Sonic now making its own drinks with booze in a can.
That's my aesthetic.
I
That's
didn't.
So my aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
We don't have those here. I looked at 4 Targets.
I looked at 4 Targets and it was only in the 4th one, so I figured there's got to be a way to locate where it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not at all of them.
Which
you
one did you...
know, if anybody is like, oh, what do you get Amanda for Christmas? If you go to sonicswag.com, they have some cool shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have this sweatshirt where the drink cup is on like a Griswold's, like kind of family, you know, the family, whatever they had in the first one, that like station wagon looking thing.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Dope. I found. Go ahead, Klump.
If we're doing like a Christmas recommendation, like or like Christmas gifts, I would love a case of Flaming Hot Mountain Dew. I tried my damnedest to get it. It didn't
Flaming
come
Hot?
through. Yeah, they made it for one day.
What?
Hmm.
Weird.
What I didn't do yet, because I think that I'm gonna do it after we try these and such. They come in a 12 pack, but I'm at some point probably gonna go to Sonic and get just the ice and pour one of these in there and make it a proper slush.
Oh
But
yeah,
until
the
then.
plain slush. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Good call. Good
I think
call.
it'll be good. I think it'll be good. But until then, I got a cup of ice. Ugh, what a letdown.
Is ocean
clear.
water is ocean water the only flavor, or were there different ones you saw?
Was it what?
Was it the only flavor?
No,
Or were there
it's a
different
12 pack, 4 different flavors, 3 of each flavor.
Oh, which flavors do we have in the 12
Well,
pack?
as the night goes on, we'll get more out.
Yay!
we'll see.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
go.
like Christmas. Gosh damn.
Yeah,
Like actually, it's more like Hanukkah because
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I
The
found this one
festival lights.
Klump over at Grant and Tanca Verde is the one that had them.
Damn, that's a drive.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
not.
I would do
It's
it.
not so
I don't
bad
know
when
where-
it's like when it's the only thing you're doing. You know what I mean? I made that my
That's
whole,
fair.
it's my whole day. Was that? Let's see. Well, I guess news yesterday. We talked about it a little bit at the end of the show, and then this morning there was follow up on it. Jeff Hardy had a rough night, as they said, a quote rough night, and rolled out of the ring, walked into the crowd, and was chased by security, and was sent home from that tour. And today, WWE released Jeff Hardy from his contract.
Ooh.
Reportedly, and I don't know, reportedly, WWE offered him help and rehab, and he declined, and that was leading to the idea that the release would need to take place. I don't have a ton. I mean, it's not. I don't like the idea that people who are trying to fantasy book already. I don't like the idea of the amount of people trying to speculate where he'll go, how long he'll be gone. I don't like the idea that kind of pressure is out there. Like, let him get the help he needs, whatever that help is, and hopefully he just understands he needs that help. But I do want to throw this out here because if there's anybody who understands these struggles, I think Sean X-Pac Waltman is a voice worth listening to for sure. And he put this out because I think it was also an important concept to be out there. A lot of people being very, very critical about Jeff Hardy not taking the help or not wanting to go to rehab, and these lines of he's doing it to himself and he doesn't want to get better. And I just don't know that all of that's. I don't know that it's fair to even put that out there. We don't know where his mindset is. We don't know what's going on. But I do want to read what Sean Waltman said, and then we'll hear from you guys for sure. But he said, not every relapse is a reason to do inpatient rehab. My best recovery came many years after I did my third stint in rehab and had totally relapsed again. I came out of it on my own with the help of evidence-based treatments and a hypnotherapist. He said, while I'm grateful for them, the rehab industry is also a huge racket. So I do think that that's notable and worth mentioning, that just because he didn't want to go through the rehab system again doesn't mean he's not looking for help. Doesn't mean he's not going to find help. Doesn't mean he can't get better. It also doesn't mean that there's no liability. And so I guess from a company standpoint, what do you say other than if you don't get rehab, you go? But I think it's just difficult all the way around. And I hope that he does find whatever his method is going to be.
Yeah. Hopefully, and I agree there that Sean Waltman is like a great resource for this and a great person to speak to on the topic. It just may not take. It may be a lot of factors that hit it. Truthfully, as well, like in my view, that schedule has to be rough. And while I'm sure there's a lot of support and resources there with you, it might just be as simple as being around an environment that has caused you to go astray before, or something even within that gets you, just like kind of knocks you off. A bad night can spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've been through those systems before, if who knows? I mean, I certainly don't know how many times he's been through rehab, other than I know he's been through rehab more than a couple of times. So maybe he's just flat out saying, look, that's not working. It's not that he might not want the help. He might just realize that that's not working for him. He needs to find a different and better way. And I don't know what that answer is. I mean, yeah, I don't like the amount of people I'm seeing. They're tweeting out fantasy matches and, can we get this match now? And it's kind of like, can he wake up sober first? Like, we don't know what's going on. His wife put out a tweet saying, Jeff is good. I'm good. Go ahead and say you, quote, heard that, and leave us alone for now. And it's like, I respect that 100%. She didn't even need to say anything. I don't think they owe any of us anything.
No.
But I do think that the IWC needs to really, take a look at itself and relax. If you see this happen and your first thought is, he's free from WWE, that's the last thing on my mind when I see Jeff Hardy's released after a, quote, rough night. Fuck, if he never wrestles again, he's already given us more than we could ever ask for.
We saw the footage. It didn't look great in the ring.
Yeah, there was a fan cam of the match that he had in Texas, and we watched it, and it was a little hard to watch all of it. It didn't look as bad as the Sting TNA match, but it definitely raised a number of questions. So Justin Times in the chat saying, hopefully Jeff is able to get the help he needs, and Leah Moonlight's coming in and waving, so cheers to both of you guys. Yep. But yeah, I don't know what to say other than whatever it is he needs, that's what I want him to have, and the last thing I want is to see him rushed into a wrestling ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think arguably Kurt Angle getting into TNA as fast as he did had long-term negative effects on his well-being.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of Kurt Angle, his birthday's today. So happy
Good
birthday.
job. Did you plan that out? I'm so
No.
proud.
Well, I
Hell of a
wanted to see
transition.
whose
Cheers
birthday it was.
and
Yeah.
happy birthday to Kurt Angle.
There's
You're
some
doing
good
better
people-
now, buddy.
Yeah, but there's good people this week who have birthdays that are coming up this week. Rey Mysterio, Sonny Kiss.
Cheers and happy
Eddie
birthday to Rey
Kingston.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Eddie
Yeah.
Kingston, you said? Sonny Kiss.
Yeah.
Cheers, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Brody Lee, if he were around, his birthday is coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, there's some good people coming up with birthdays. So.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know. You hear about the brotherhood of the wrestling industry in a lot of ways, and you just hope that the good ones are all reaching out right now. That he's able to. That he's made enough friends and over a long enough period of time with people who've gone through similar things. You just hope that the Waltmans and the Jarretts and all of them are reaching out and being like, if you need anything, you know what I mean? And I'm sure they are. I don't know why they wouldn't, but that's where my mind went. Less so than, can you imagine the tag team matches he could have in the future? So
That's just
call me
disgusting.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, fans are disgusting. It gets worse and worse every year. I think, and I've been saying this now for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Because I just remember when I really got into the indies, there was not this kind of behavior. And it's not because, social media is such a big thing, but even then you didn't get people behaving like entitled bratty, children, or, who are insensitive or hiding in, some crack hole or whatever, trying to fantasy book things that are inappropriate. And I think that's completely inappropriate right now.
I had one person came across my timeline that they thought that he relapsed on purpose to get out of his contract so he could go work with his brother. And I was like, what a fucking terrible thing to put out there in general.
That is That is awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is an awful, like, fucking shame on anyone who even
I
liked
know
that comment.
That's
But
awful. Yeah.
yeah,
And these are
I'm-
the same people, okay, and this is what bothers me. It's like, okay, you're gonna sit here, you're gonna fantasy book, you're gonna do all this other stuff. And these are the same people that are ruining people's careers who don't deserve it and all this other shit. So, I'm like, y'all need to chill, okay? Unless you really know, don't add to whatever, because wrestlers troll and they know
Yeah.
who says what. So,
yeah, they're lurking.
that's a little bit of advice from me.
Yeah, and you never know who's gonna come across your stuff. So on a more positive note, I mean, we started doing on a more positive note, on still why would you put that kind of stuff out there, right? You never know who's looking. Like you said, the wrestlers are lurking, and you never know who all is lurking. We started doing a Dexter podcast on the side here. The producer lady, it's her show. We put out a little thing saying, "Hey, check it out." It had 10 views at the time, and we got a comment from the director of Dexter.
Oh, wow.
Saying, "I really enjoyed your podcast," and he goes, "But we didn't, because it was out of 4 episodes, it was the first time we were critical. We're like, this one feels a little shotgunned. It felt like they really just rushed a lot." And he goes, "It wasn't rushed at all. Believe me, it was very deliberate." And he said, "Look closer." And I was all like,
With a smiley face.
with a smiley face. So he was like,
Oh,
friendly, because that's also the sickness that is the IWC. I see that the director listens to it, and I think, oh my God, we're blacklisted forever. We're going to get canceled. This guy's going to shit on us. And he is listening to it and smiling, I'm sure. When we say this feels shotgunned, he's probably laughing, being like, these guys don't even get it.
These idiots.
Yeah, these idiots are missing the thing. And so he said, look closer. And we're presenting it, obviously, because we love the thing. And he listened to it and could hear our enjoyment. We even ended the thing saying, look, if you're not into this show at this point, we really don't know how to help you. It's pretty incredible the way it's all coming together. So, yeah, you just don't know who's coming across it. 10 people viewed it, and one of them was the director. And then we got a like from one of the actors in the show.
Yeah,
and we're like, today. And you're like,
yeah.
and I think the sickness that is the IWC is that they've created such a toxic environment that on Sportsbeard made a comment. He made a joke to Adam Pearce about how his pants had ripped.
Yeah.
Because he said something about I'm stoned or whatnot, and then he said, "Too bad your pants weren't," and got blocked right away.
Yeah.
Because the toxicity that is the IWC makes wrestlers see something like that and think, this fucking troll, I'm shutting him up now.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, the director of a TV show we like,
And other shows.
and other shows that we like, wanted to was engaging in a positive discourse, and we felt like we fucked up. And it's like, no, this is the kind of thing that people can talk about at a coffee table. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If he was sitting across from us and we would say, "Hey, it felt really shotgunned on that one," he wouldn't take offense to it. But the IWC takes offense to everything, and it creates a weird mentality,
You watch
Yeah,
TV
here's one for you, IWC. This is a personal one that has happened to me. So when I went on the cruise, Cole Cabana was there. I was very mad at Cole Cabana.
Yeah.
And then when the first thing I saw him, he says, I was like, "I'm mad at you." And he goes, "I know." And I was like, how do you know? Well, other wrestlers had told him I was mad. He himself had seen it on my Twitter. So, people, that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. It happens. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I was like, how do you know? But then again, I hope, like me, I'm really conscious about what I put out there now, because I've been burned by a lot of people on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're not going to become famous because you're sitting there talking shit about wrestlers or whatever on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or whatever
Exactly.
platform. If you, if you want to have some kind of notoriety, I don't know, go into porn. That's an easy way.
Mhm.
They're always looking for people,
They're
or
always looking.
Yeah, always looking, or something. I don't know. Film like a car crash or something, or film one of these. Like have you ever seen the Superhuman?
Yeah.
That kid that does all. Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Superhuman. Okay,
Yeah, he's
does
found a
stupid
way.
shit. Everyone knows Leroy from Janela's Janela Zone. I mean, come on, anyone can do it.
Yeah, but yeah, you never know who's looking, and there's some stuff that, like, why would you bother putting it out there?
Exactly.
My only thought is that I hope I get to meet Jeff Hardy someday, and that he's got clear eyes when I do. You know what I mean? Like, my thought isn't, do I ever want to see him wrestle again? He's given us more incredible matches than any one person should ever feel responsible for giving a community. So whether he ever wrestles again, never wrestles again, as long as he gets healthy again, that should be the entire discourse.
Absolutely.
End of story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was lucky. One of my friends loved Jeff Hardy. So we would see him at WrestleCon all the time. And I remember the first memory I had of her, because she had met we were in San Jose. She had met Jeff that day, and we happened to be sitting front row. And he did a match. It was him and Matt versus RDV and Sabu. Fucking great match. And afterwards, Jeff was taking off his little, I don't know, glovey things or whatever the hell they are. And he went over to my friend and gave her one. She freaked out. She was like, oh my God. And so we were talking about this over the years. Like I said, have you ever noticed like Jeff, like, kind of like out there, and she said, no. And then I thought about it too. And I'm like, no. So, people have their demons and stuff. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure, he's got a lot of these guys do have a lot of demons, and, some are better at controlling it than others. So.
And he's been putting his body on the line for so many years, doing nothing but wild stunts. And even now, his swanton it looks like that can't be good on the body.
No.
You know what I mean? And he's still doing
absolutely. It. Yeah. No.
So,
because look at a lot of the flippy people, our flippy friends. Yeah. They're starting to not do that because why? It shortens a career.
Yeah. Ospreay doesn't do it hardly at all.
Well, he's also fat now, and
Well, regardless, I do like. I mean, you think about too. Like, Ospreay put out that someone tweeted part of a Ricochet Ospreay thing, and Ospreay retweeted and said, "I can't even do half of this stuff anymore." And Ricochet, Ricochet said, "I could do all that stuff and your stuff," and I was all like, "Fuck yeah, Ricochet!" But
I fucking love Ricochet.
The idea, a lot of those guys are, they're concerned.
Yeah,
about
but seriously, with Ocean Spray, go back and there's videos of him trying to do some of those moves, but because he wanted to be a heavyweight. He didn't realize that bulking up the way he did or getting fat, because it was not that like muscular looking, still to this date, it's not. It was funny. I took great pleasure in watching him try to do this stuff and not. I did.
It's terrible.
But
Ricochet's been putting on a lot of size too. We saw him recently and thought he looked a lot bigger.
He's getting buff. He's getting buff.
Yeah.
You know who's I think is shrinking? Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole's shrinking?
Yeah, he just looks. He keeps looking smaller and smaller. I don't know.
Yeah, he's looking less like any form of athlete and looking a lot more like any general child.
Hey, babe.
What?
Sometimes,
yeah.
Sometimes I think that maybe negative
like
one
he even does push-ups. Negative one's got bigger arms.
Yeah.
Are we body shaming?
Only Adam Cole.
I was earlier. Yeah,
and she was about Ocean Spray, so I think that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. IWC, that's another one too. That's another one. Okay. He knows I call him Ocean Spray, and now it's very in vogue to call him Ocean Spray, and I'm like, everyone knows where that came from.
No.
So, again, he knows I call him Ocean Spray. He also has me blocked. Okay, so when I talk shit about him, he still sees it.
That's funny.
So,
Justin Time says, even at his size now, it still shocks me the things Ospreay can still do. I'll be honest, I haven't watched an Ospreay match in a long time. So I'm going to take your word on that one, Justin. Was there other news stuff?
Hacksaw's doing good.
Hacksaw's cancer free.
Yay!
I wanted to make
saw
sure
that.
Klump heard about that. It's Klump's
No, I
papa.
saw. Yeah. Y'all talked about Blackjack Lanza, I assume.
No, we did not talk. Well, yesterday, but yeah, Blackjack Lanza has passed away. Tears in our beers to him.
No.
Hacksaw's cancer free, which I thought was great.
Trying to think of what else there was.
I don't think I have a ton else on just like news, except for like show
No.
news. If you wanted to look up to see if there's something we were missing, then I'll plug New Wave Coffee real fast, and then you can tell me if you found anything. Flow State Coffee, guys.
Wow.
I still have the OG bag here. They got a whole new design where the font's like the Cow Palace, and it's just in the other room. I've just been holding on to the old school one. I think next time I see Greg, I'm gonna have him sign this one. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a collector's item. The OG Flow State Coffee. Flow State Coffee is a specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for productivity and creativity. Gives you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee while decreasing negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. I do like that it just says negative side effects like blood pressure.
Yeah.
Like blood pressure's... It didn't say high blood pressure. It just says blood pressure at all. We'll just flatten out the blood pressure. We're just going to bring the PSI on your blood down to 0.
I would hope.
But if you go to newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, and put in promo code CHEERS, you can get 10% off whatever the hell's going on.
10 what?
10%.
Okay.
Poor scent.
Percent.
Person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Person. 10
I do
person.
have.
Okay. Forget
I
it.
found a little bit.
What
Forget
do you
it.
got?
Okay. 'Tis the season for Ebola announcements because
Oh,
Ebola this
yeah.
year is 2 days in January. It is a Saturday and a Sunday. I will try to be there. I really want to because I've been to the last couple of Ebolas and they're always great. The first entrant is someone that we know, Bronson Reed, Jonah Rock, actually.
Boo.
So, woohoo! Yes.
You know why he does that?
Why?
Lady Gaga.
No.
Yeah, when she does her concert, she talks about all her monsters. She calls her fans monsters, and she does this to her fans. And he's a big Lady Gaga fan and went to a concert and saw her do that, and he did it back, and he was like, I'm just gonna do that.
Oh my God. Speaking of Lady Gaga, have any of you seen when Brody King, it was in New York at this drag club, he was lip syncing Lady Gaga? That's another person who's totally big into Lady Gaga. It's Brody King.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, it's great. It's on YouTube. It's really great. It's great, like 6 minutes of, yeah.
There's a
it's
new
great.
Brody King figure coming out. I sent it to you.
I saw that. It looks actually for
Looks
Figures
good.
Toy Company, it looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sad that it's the ROH thing. Oh, so then our other entrants, they announced number 4 just shortly. It looks like we have Alex Shelley is number 2. Kevin Blackwood is number 3. And returning back to PWG, Leo Rush. I'm not surprised
Well,
about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised. I think what's going to end up happening is Bola this year is probably going to be most of the fired people. So, or people who are coming back. So I really hope, if I could say, hey, there's people I'd really hope, I would really love to see ACH in it. And I'm really excited that I get to see him wrestle tomorrow
Yeah.
because I didn't think he would ever come back after what had happened. And then when he started and he was still having some issues and said, this is it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't go back and, honor the commitments, and that people were fine about it because it was a mental health thing. So
Yeah. Just in time says Jonah recently made his NJPW Strong in-ring debut as well. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about when you think about people always talk about the health of the indies, but you've even talked about it a number of times, the period of time where WWE was just scooping up the indie talent, the hot indie talent, and just like poaching them all up.
yeah.
Well, AEW's doing that now at a high rate, and as much as people want to say AEW lets these talent do whatever they want, they've also pulled a number of AEW talent from indie shows. So it's really kind of a hit and miss. It depends on who you're getting and when, and if they're going to be able to do it. Where if they're with WWE, they're just not going to be able to do it at all. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's pluses and minuses to that too. You don't want someone pulled from your show. If you've already booked them, that's got to be worse than not being able to book someone at all. The thing I was really getting to though, because it makes you wonder now that this many of the major indie talents are back in the pool. People talk about how the indie scene is going to be incredibly healthy and rich again. But I wonder, can it really be that? Because all you're doing is influxing back the talent that was pulled up, but now they're going back in there with a much higher price tag. So you're basically going to have the same exact roster you had 3 years ago, but now at 3 times the cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I know exactly what you mean. I think that the problem is, not really the problem. Now that you have ROH shutting down in a matter of days, you're losing one.
Yeah.
Not to say that ROH was, I mean, in its heyday, it was amazing. Okay, just in the last year or so, pandemic killed it, and getting rid of their head booker. But I digress. But there's not a lot of places for people to go that are big. It's like, okay, you have Impact. You can do AEW if Tony likes you or whatever. Or
but even then, that stuff's weird too. Like, look at Danny Jordan. She's been on Dark almost every week since Dark started, and she's still not signed with AEW.
That's so weird. But look at Fuego del Sol. They only just recently signed him.
Yeah.
The ultimate jobber on that thing. But I'm also thinking too, a lot of people now that are coming out and whatever, they're trying to hit the GCW circuit. And I know those guys, some of those guys are being very protective of what they've done, and I don't blame them. Yeah. You are seeing the rise now of some super indies. It's being very competitive, the West Coast. I'm glad that finally we get some jealous people on the East Coast who are like, oh my God, those cards. And I'm talking about Defy, Swerve's house. So I'm expecting him to go back, and the first night he's back is going to be, that place is going to just explode. I mean, that's how loved he is over there. And then, of course, West Coast Pro. There's a new one that's in LA.
There's Wrestle Pro in New Jersey, which is already booked to show.
Wrestle Pro's always been big, though. Yeah. But there's a new one that's in LA. And I think one of the matches they're having is what is it? Brian Cage versus, it was somebody freaking whoa. I mean, they had some really good matches. So, there's a lot of things coming out. And I think that,
do you think,
there's a higher price
do you
tag.
Think, do you think, but they're going to be getting bigger turnouts? Because I'll be honest with you, Killer Cross, months before he signed to NXT, came through Tucson, and I was talking to a guy who was like, look, I can get you an interview with Killer Cross if you want it. I'll do your podcast. And he's like, now's the time to do it because he's about to sign a real big contract. And I was like, that's really cool. And I was like, but my show's not really like that, and I don't know what I would talk to him about because I haven't been following him as much. But I'll be honest, if Karrion Kross comes through Tucson again, I'm not going to miss this one because there's a reason I'd want to be around him. You know what I mean? But where before it's if I see Jonas coming through Tucson, I'm probably going to go to that. You know what I mean? But before it was, you would see guys from the indies come through who you had heard of. I remember when Tessa came through and Brian Cage, and it's all oh, that's cool. I saw them on Lucha Underground or whatever here and there. But it didn't feel as pressing as if Scarlett and Cross were to come through now, it would feel pretty pressing, So maybe turnouts will be better, and maybe they can charge more per ticket.
Well, a lot of indies are charging more. I know, for example, West Coast Pro, the last couple of shows have been $55 a ticket. And I mean, they're selling out. That place is small, but honestly, I mean, it's getting to the point where they're gonna have to find a bigger place. And I'm sure that shout out to our boy Scotty up there. I'm sure he's trying to find a bigger place. But there's something really cute about the state room that just, it's kind of awesome. But again, Defy. I mean, shit. I think maybe tickets are like their most expensive tickets, almost like $80-$90 now,
Yeah.
maybe. But
That's
I mean, look
true.
at the talent some of these people have. And to
Oh,
be
yeah.
quite honest, like that's more than an ROH ticket, like when they were in Las Vegas.
Right. But you also got to
Yeah,
think about
I
it like
mean-
this. If you have talent on your show, if you've got multiple talent on your show that have WWE figures out there,
Mhm.
like that's a push because people, there's a whole collectible market, right? If I see that Bronson Reed's coming through, then I might spend more on a ticket if I can get a Bronson Reed action figure signed to sell or to keep or whatever. You know what I mean? Where before you might have a Brian Cage or Tessa Blanchard on your show, but they don't have action figures. You know what I mean? Like when
Well,
there's
they
merch
did.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But those
I
don't
mean,
count. Yeah,
yeah.
but real ones. Yeah. no,
yeah, but like, and I just mean like the idea of getting merch signed is such a big thing in and of itself, or even trading cards, that if you know that those legit big time trading cards and figures and posters and whatever is out there, multiple T-shirts that were like WWE stock, you'll probably could sell tickets higher just because people will bring in their own personal merch. Look at, I was following you when you were this figure. You know what I mean? Where before, big names on the indies still are just selling their shitty 8x10s. And I say shitty 8x10s because most of the time I go to there, they're not clear images. They literally have a small image they've blown up to 8x10 and they don't know how to do
and they
it right.
photocopy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where now you could have like these really high quality ones that are just out there and available. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe that's part of it too.
But a lot of the bigger ones, though, I will say, maybe just because they were doing like PWG and stuff, but they always had things, had like really pretty good merch.
Yeah.
And honestly, like one of my one thing that I always loved is I only have one Kenny Omega shirt.
Mm.
And I kind of had to buy it because I'm like, dude, like I'm seeing Kenny Omega and frickin' Reseda. What is this? What is this
Yeah.
life? You know?
Yeah.
And I'd never met Kenny. And apparently the shirt that I bought was never sold anywhere else.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was a Bullet Club one, but it was like a knock to the 6 stars that Meltzer
Oh, yeah.
gave him. I'll have to find it. See, it was like the 6-star club. It was a great
That's
shirt.
funny.
Yeah, and even the
Plump's
Bucks
got a
used
couple
to sell-
cool Omega shirts, I think. Do you have like what,
Yeah.
one or two? Don't you have a Golden
I-
Lovers shirt?
I have a Golden Lover shirt. I have an old Bullet Club where it's the 8-bit Kenny one.
that was good.
I have all the
Oh, yeah.
different Omega Mans.
The Omega Mans is a cool one.
Yeah, those are the 3. Yeah,
Yeah. That'd be cool to
Yeah.
meet him someday.
Yeah.
Kenny. Oh yeah,
And I'll tell you, the Bucks, like they used to have like these great limited edition shirts. Like they had the knockoff of the Rick and Morty one, and just stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're a little deep in the woods. We're talking booking indies. Klump, are you about to say something there?
nah, I'm good.
All right.
I got lost in shirts.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just thinking. Actually, I mean, when you think about like selling those tickets too, like when Mick Foley came through, I took 2 figures and a foam hardcore title, and then like I left after that. Like you could sell stuff just for people to come through for the signings if they don't even come to the show. You know what I mean? Like there's just a whole other market for that stuff when you have an entire collectible market out there. Let's talk a little AEW though. Let's,
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? We're
Let's
here.
do it.
Amanda, you saw Rampage, you saw Dynamite. When I look through kind of the breakdown of what happened on these shows, you tell me what's going on that looks good.
Well, I'll tell you, not a lot looks really good. Because I think I've said this on episode 1 before, that it's the same match over and over again, different people.
Yeah.
So it's really, to me, it's like not, I'm like, okay, Bryan Danielson's gonna wrestle somebody and he's gonna beat them. Okay, cool. They're gonna build it up to him and Hangman. Now, what would be shitty is if they let Hangman drop the title to him. That would be shitty. Only because I think that it's like dude, Adam Page already got screwed over once, maybe twice. But no, you can't do that again to him. You know, it's like you've had your shit. You know, you've had, you know, greatness. So it's like you don't need that. And then it's like I don't need. Well, it's actually better than some of the Don Callis shit. But having SuperClick, the Bucks and Bebe.
Yeah, that's doing nothing for me.
It's still getting a little. It's getting a little old. That one. I'm tired of seeing Christian with Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
He's like taking Marco Stunt's role, pretty
Which
much. Yeah, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird.
We got Kingston, Jade Cargo. Was it Sammy and
then,
Tony Nese?
Yeah. And then Punk, I will say this. I think Phil is getting a little bit better on the mic because the first couple of times I thought were kind of rough. You can at me. I don't care. I don't like Phil. But even if I did like Phil, it's true. He looked that he was blown up. He didn't have that fire on the mic he used to.
No.
But last night in Long Island, he found it again. And it was great. It was actually pretty great. No pipe bomb kind of thing, but it actually was it was a great one. Like you can tell definitely off the cuff and the heat that he got and how he was just reacting to it was amazing. So I really don't like Phil.
Yeah.
Especially after what Phil did after.
Well, and he comes off, he sounds so patronizing so much of the time, and he sounds phony, like he doesn't believe it. It comes off disingenuous, like, I don't buy into almost anything he's saying almost ever. And then he's been coming off so bland. He had like 4 or 5 weeks in a row where he was just coming out there to clap and say, let's cheer AEW. Tony Khan's the man.
Yeah, he's still doing that.
I know. And it's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, that was his exact issue with Cena. Either way, I did like that Punk brought that up. Or not Punk, the MJF brought that up finally. Because I was like, when are we going to acknowledge that Punk is just playing Cena now? But Justin does say Punk's promo was way too much rambling, but he does say this, the Hangman Danielson build has been pretty shitty, if I'm being honest, not to mention rushed as well. I'll say, I want to know kind of where you stand on that, because when I see Danielson and Page kind of side by side and you hear them both talk, all I can think is how Danielson is completely outclassing Hangman Page in every way. The Hangman Page is an underdog, and not the underdog sense typically, where you're not the typical underdog sense where you think that they can be physically outmatched. The underdog sense where you just go, this guy's not as good as him, and he doesn't sound like he's even sure of himself. Like it's like it looks like you're watching a star amongst indies. You go, oh, Danielson's the real thing. And Page is just the guy who's popular right now in this small town. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the big thing again is, I think he was ripped out of ROH way too soon, and not like there's anybody at AEW. I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure that nobody then, at least when they first signed, was working with people on those kind of skills. I don't even think they do that, to be quite honest.
Klump, what were you thinking?
Oh, sorry. Howdy. I feel like it truly. I was reading a comic earlier this week. It was one of those just stupid memes about wrestling, and it was like a group of people with their hand, who's happy that Hangman's champ, and everyone raises their hand. Who wants to see him lose it to Danielson? No one. Or who wants to see that Bryan Danielson is champion? Everyone. Who wants to see him take it off of Hangman? No one. And it's rough because these are two really supported people within wrestling, within AEW, because one's crowd made, the other one is the perennial, like the constant underdog. But what's kind of rough here is you don't really see an underdog in this case.
Yeah. Because
you're booking the best underdog ever against the fan favorite, underdog. and it
Yeah.
doesn't work out super well to me because nobody can play underdog better than the underdog.
Yeah.
And that's what, Bryan Danielson, yes, he's absolutely amazing. He's absolutely a wonder, but he's such a beloved fan favorite, and I think a lot of that comes from that thinking of him like, wow, that match he put on with Lesnar, wow, he beat Triple H and Randy Orton in one night. They put
Yeah.
all this behind him, and it's he just outshines everything that not just Hangman, but I put it to you, I don't think anyone in AEW could keep up with him.
Yeah.
Truthfully, not a lot of people in WWE could keep up with him, but they have a lot more to kind of, I think, back end to help everyone.
Mhm.
So it's just to me, it's just a really rough spot for Hangman.
Yeah, I do too. I think also like my biggest issue I think with AEW booking it all right now is that they've done a terrible job booking Hangman over a very long period of time in a really weak story. And so by the time that they made him the champion by slow playing a shitty story for so long, that he became the least important champion they've had thus far. You know what I mean? Like if they
Yes.
had just put him in a good story and built it strong instead of a shitty story over a long period of time, he could feel important. But they've waited so long to have a lot more important people than him. Arguably, Eddie Kingston's more important than Paige.
They fucked over Eddie so hardcore though.
Oh, they have.
But-
He's a jobber for sure, but he's arguably more important than Paige on any given match.
Yeah.
We already got Kingston Punk. There's a reason we've nowhere been near Paige and Punk. Like that's not even, they're not even teasing it because Punk's trying to go for people that he's trying to build up. But
Yeah.
even then, like
Oh, speaking of Eddie.
the whole thing is you've got Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. I mean, for wrong reasons, but lucky for Paige, Omega and Moxley had to step away for their own reasons. But if they were still in there, they'd be more important. Arguably, Jericho's still billed as more important than Paige, and it's just one of those things where it's like, I wanted Paige to be the first champion, and then every time I'm tuning in, I'm watching him like punk out in these really awful stories that it's really cooled me off, and I was like, okay. And then when I heard he was finally champion, I was like, oh, now, like now that you guys have all this other stuff behind you, weird.
3 years later.
If by the time Danielson came into the company, Paige had been champion for a year, it would be an important feud. But Danielson's been in the company for months. Paige just got the title, and you're already in a story where you feel like Paige is outmatched.
Yeah.
Even in just talking. But what were you going to say, Amanda?
I was going to say with Eddie,
Hmm.
I think I'm wondering what's going to happen with Inner Circle because now Eddie, which rightfully where he should be, with Santana and Ortiz, and that's a very powerful group, and
Yeah.
I hope they run with that because honestly, like the Inner Circle, I mean, really, what is it? You don't really need that anymore.
No, they've
mean-
outgrown it. They've outgrown it.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
also people, I think that with Jericho now, is that now that there's other flavors and other toys to play with, they don't have to play. He doesn't have to do anything. So I don't know.
Let's see. The Battle Royal seemed to take up a lot of it.
Well, also, the Battle Royal was weird because in the sense of there were some really good people in that Battle Royal. Lee Moriarty, I think he was the first one that got thrown over. I didn't realize Frankie Kazarian was in it that long, to be honest. I was like,
Right.
oh, okay. So when he finally was eliminated at like number 4, I was shocked. I'm like, where did Frankie come from?
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing of Dante Martin and Leo Rush kind of basically punking Team Taz. I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about that. It sounds kind of boring, but at least it's okay. I think the next victim after MJF that Phil's going to go for is probably going to be Ricky, because he got that GTS. But
Could be.
you never know. And he was one that was mentioned, but you never know. You never know with it. But this MJF thing, I'm waiting to see really what's going to happen with it, because, you know, the ring and all of that, I hope he doesn't win it again. He probably will. So, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he's
But-
going to.
I will say that Rio versus Jamie Hayter was actually pretty decent.
Oh, yeah?
I really like Jamie Hayter. Now, I really wish that, and this is me fantasy booking now, I would rather see Jamie Hayter be the person that takes the belt off of Britt Baker. Just because of how the storylines have been going, and it's a credible thing. And actually,
And she's good.
yeah, and she's good, and she'd make Britt Baker look like $1 million instead of like
Maybe.
10 cents.
Could be.
Go figure.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else on AEW, really.
No, what I do have with AEW, the issue I have currently, again, it's still the same show over and over again. And they keep promising a lot of things. There's like the follow through is awful. So now apparently they're going to do more pay-per-views.
Are
They
they?
probably realize, oh, those actually make them money. And all sorts of things. And I don't think that they're at that level yet, because it's going to be the same thing over and over and over and over again, you know. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to blow $60 every month just to see like the same kind of match but reformulated because the players are changed and you're not adding new people in.
Yeah.
Like what's that all about? So.
Well, I mean, even then they bring in people, and I mean, having Punk wrestle every single week and having Daniel Bryan wrestle every single week has really cooled them off. Daniel Bryan didn't even wrestle every week in WWE.
I don't
You know
think
what I
so.
mean? Like they kept
Yeah.
him special. I mean, he wrestled a number of weeks in a row for a while there, especially when he was champion. They held him off a little bit, but like during the pandemic, when there was just an empty warehouse, they were putting him in matches constantly because he was the kind of guy who could wrestle a great match with nobody in the crowd, and that meant something, you know. But I would say, like, yeah, they've already blown out those guys. They're not must see, you know.
Now, one guy that they're doing interesting things with is Malachi Black, because yesterday, you know, the Varsity Blondes were cutting a promo. It went black, and I'm like, oh God, don't tell me. And then there Malachi Black was in his little mask thing, and took it off, and he put mist in the little cheerleader Julia Hart's face.
That's funny.
And she sold it so well. But I'm like, that's a really interesting, you know, combination of people. Which I thought, wow, this is really creative for AEW, to be honest. I'm like, where the hell would you ever see that?
Well,
Or even
random doesn't make you can be creative and you can be random, but it doesn't make it good.
But I think it might be, just because Pullman's been doing pretty good lately. I don't know. I was shocked that Griff was back. I didn't know if he was injured or whatever, because we haven't seen him in such a long time.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting. But what I thought was really interesting, did you hear about how Cody was booed? Like, it was loud. It was almost as loud as Punk. But again, I don't understand why he's going after a title that he had already. Yet again, it's like, what are you doing? Because people are pissed. They don't want to see him again with the belt and all this crap. No.
I would love it. I would love it. Put that belt back on Cody.
Oh, people would melt down.
Be incredible.
Well,
And then he should take the FTW belt too. Have him be the belt collector of all the belts that are not the heavyweight titles.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Oh my God, no, that would be just hilarious. Well, there is that Battle of the Belts coming up. That can be either really decent or very boring.
Right.
We'll see.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Go ahead, Klump.
It feels weird that he gets booed because he's both been away from the belt for a while and hasn't. He hasn't held a belt, but he's been built as somebody who kind of persistently loses. So I can get why the fuck are you here? The more you put him in these just kind of expected feuds, and he's not, they don't have qualifying matches for something, or we're gonna do this for this belt or for number one contenders thing, and have him join in. Those build great storylines. Instead, it feels like these people just by virtue of being at the top of the card or sitting at the top of the card.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great note from WWE if they did more, like tournaments or, 4-way matches or, get this going this way matches and then build feuds and do different things versus constant run-ins and losses and then a personal feud, but then he's back.
Yeah. And all their stuff just stops. Nothing carries over. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, they've never revisited anybody's feud because once they have the match, that's it. That's the end of it. They don't do the rematches. They don't do long stories. They don't do those things with most people. So it's not like it comes back up. Justin says Cody's at the point where anything he does and whether he's heel or face, no one cares. Yeah, I feel like that him and Jericho have really found a way to cool themselves off. Yeah. By asserting that they're so important, they've made themselves less important.
And
when you go
by
up there
doing that, nobody else seems important. It's
yes,
it's
'cause
weird.
You're still
I feel
declaring yourself. You still declare yourself the most important, but you're clearly not as important. So anybody beneath you is even less than less important.
I think part of it, maybe I say this knowing full well that they couldn't do it, but maybe if you made it like a story, kind of being open about that, like more so than I've done this all over the world, but like, yeah, you're not important versus I am, and in a way, with a lot of the talent, maybe you could make something happen, if nothing else to a pay-per-view, but maybe it could be a way to highlight a few people who are on the lower card that really shouldn't be. That could be a way for Jungle Boy to break out, is having like a fractious feud, and it could split people up. Why have Christian with Jurassic Express when, he could be with Cole and these other people who kind of get forced together because, look, we don't need your shit. You guys think you're great because you've had these careers in this big company. We're trying to do something different, and we keep getting pushed to the side for you.
Yeah.
I think I feel that's FTR.
Oh yeah, FTR's been
Absolutely.
chucked to the side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also if their feuds with Cody and Jericho specifically, if they weren't clearly latching on to what was becoming the hottest thing around them, and then just basically attacking it till they cool it off to keep themselves the hottest thing. Like it doesn't mean as much to go into a feud with Jericho if clearly Jericho keeps trying to attach himself to a feud with somebody who the fans are getting behind, just to have Jericho beat them and push them back down. Like it's this weird, like, no one's hotter than me. You know what I mean? And it makes them, like you said, less. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it feels like.
No, I agree with that. That's a good way to put it. It's,
if people were challenging them because they said you feel important and I want to prove I'm better than you, that'd be one thing. But it's not. It's always the fans really like you. I'm going to attach myself to you somehow.
yes, 100%. And it feels like bleeding off of a live vein. Oh shit, there's something here. And it kind of goes both ways, but mostly it seems, in a sense, I say it kind of goes both ways, because then some people, like, you see new people be immediately thrown into feuds with them that have been there, but it really just, it feels like if somebody's, not had a career in Japan or in the Elite or in WWE, fuck them. Unless you're Tony Nese. Fuck Tony Nese.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on there.
He's great, but he just gets kicked down everywhere he goes.
Oh, poor Tony Nese.
Yeah.
He looks like a shorter, more muscular Jay White.
Hey, I like Jay White.
Thunder Rosa just liked our tweet about our podcast?
Yeah.
Shit, I hope she's not listening.
Shit.
Well, let's talk about how good she is. No, we didn't talk about her yet. Thunder Rosa easily should be champion. Make her champion right now.
Well, my thing is, I can't wait for her and Jade. That's
Don't
gonna be-
Don't kiss people's ass. That doesn't make you like them.
I'm not
They're
kissing anyone's ass.
No, you're fine, Amanda. Marsh is. Marsh is like, oh, they're tweeting. 2024 Thunder Rosa and Kamala Harris. That's their go-to. No, let's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
For president.
I'm not. They're decent. They cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Fair.
She
No, but
feels
see-
really important, though, to be honest.
Yeah. And
Do you think they're gonna? Who do you think they're gonna put the TBS title on? Do you think it'll be Thunder?
It'd be
it
Thunder
better
Rosa.
be. Yeah, it couldn't be anyone else, because they need to put it on her. She needs it. And I don't say like she needs it, but that title needs some weight to it. They really got to have another title people can kind of fight for, and if nothing else, it can be kind of a skyrocket. I could see her with it being an interesting feud for the main title, or it could be a workers title. Because it needs weight.
Yeah.
What would add more weight than her having that, holding that, as well as the AEW women's title?
And she proved by carrying the NWA title in that company the importance that she could bring to a secondary title in there. Also in the YouTube chat, Thunder Rosa just said, "Who says I'm not listening?" So Thunder Rosa listening. Hi.
Girl, shoot.
Ah!
See,
But-
people, I told you.
That's true. We started the show with saying you never know who's listening. It could be anyone at any given time. So
Exactly.
It could be the NSA.
NSA. Justin Time does say, I still think Thunder Rosa is the one to take it off of Britt Baker.
Yeah.
But I like that Jamie Hayter argument. And I do think that if Jamie Hayter took it off of Britt, you could end up still with a cool feud of Thunder and Jamie Hayter. I'm not saying we can't revisit Thunder and Britt, but I am saying that could be more interesting stuff out there than just that.
Yeah, no,
But-
I would love to see the Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa. That's one of that's one I'm like, ooh. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I think AEW needs Thunder Rosa to win the title.
The TBS.
Because if they want to, say that, oh, we have the best women's division, well, you know what? You got to have like one of the best women as one of the title holders.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Have we seen Serena Deeb in a while? Is she injured?
We don't see her that much. But she's facing Sheeta at Winter is Coming.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
that's one person that I'm like, yo, like, why don't they use her more? But I don't know. I love
Yeah.
Serena Deeb. So.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
When is that?
11th this weekend.
This weekend? All right, cool. We can give a quick shout out too. Mission Pro Wrestling this weekend, Silver Bells. You can find it if you go to Mission Pro Wrestling. What is it? missionprowrestling.net. You can find out all the stuff there. If you guys are in Texas, grab a ticket while you can. If you are not, stream it. We are happy to have sponsored one of their shows and unfortunately not able to do so as of right now. But check out Mission Pro Wrestling and support them and support Thunder Rosa. And we appreciate all of the people who do so. And shout out to the Nation's Corner, one of their long-term standing sponsors as well. But yeah, absolutely. Thunder Rosa in the chat. Okay, gotta run, have fun. She's so good. Saturday the 11th, absolutely. Mission Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. See,
But
people
you never know who's gonna come
never
through.
know. And I will say this: I've told this to Marsh before, but there are people I know who listen. I'm not going to tell you guys, but there are people I know who listen. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There's some big names. I mean, obviously, look, Thunder Rosa showed up.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big one to just pop in and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna hang for a minute." All right, well.
Why the hell? Yeah, like,
why not?
What did we do right? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we sometimes bitch and are mean about shit sometimes, but we try not to be.
We all the time are bitch and are mean about shit. More often than not, we bitch and are mean.
Well, that's lately.
Yeah.
It's only lately. It's not our fault, right? What's that?
No, it's not our fault. Like when you have when you're putting together shitty cards or it's getting really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then of course we're gonna shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds like Reality of Wrestling in Houston. The Booker T's one's doing one this weekend too. So it sounds like if you're in Texas, you got a ton of great wrestling this weekend.
Texas does. Inspire Pro.
That's what I'm saying. He's on Friday, Mission's on Saturday. So
yeah, the only one I think that was kind of a failure was, I don't know, Russell Circus, but that was really carny. Anyway,
and Sam Stackhouse is out there
in Texas.
He's been wrestling in Texas a lot. He's out of Oklahoma, but he's been wrestling in Texas a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He was even tweeting out today asking anybody running shows in Texas during WrestleMania weekend. He wants to do like 30 matches, which is insane. Because he also just crushed his ankle. So, well, but then again, he's talking about like a WrestleMania weekend. That's months, so he'll be fine.
I wonder if they're going to do, the collective is going to do the Texas. Well, no, I wonder if they're going to do the Texas one again. Like they were going to do it at in Tampa, and they might because it's Dallas, and who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you guys want to talk about NXT?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think NXT 2.0 is cool. I think it's neat for what it is.
Awkward drop off.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Yeah.
Something about it is just, it feels a little off, and I don't know what it is. Because I'll be honest with you, is I wasn't the biggest fan of the black and gold as it was. And when 2.0 first started, I was loving it. But
we remember
something about it is coming off a little static. But I will say there's a few things of like bright lights. Like I do think that Harland is going to be wrestling next week with the Joe Gacy character, and I do think what's going on there I find very interesting.
Yeah.
Just retweeted us.
Who retweeted us?
Mission Pro 2.
Thunder Rosa and Mission Pro Wrestling. All right.
Can a podcast blush? Because that's what this podcast is doing.
Yeah, the podcast is blushing.
Oh, you.
Yo, Cabana, if you're listening.
Yeah, jump in the chat.
Jump in the chat.
I don't understand.
Yeah. So funny. But,
or anybody, if you're a wrestler and you're listening to this chat or listening to us, hop in the chat.
Yeah, pop in the chat. Sam Stackhouse does it. Whoop whoop.
Yeah. And obviously Thunder Rosa does it.
Yeah. Are you saying you're too good, but Thunder Rosa's not? Please, you're not better than Thunder Rosa. Yeah. But yeah, something about NXT 2.0 is just not quite clicking to me. It's just not hitting the way that it was at first. There's certain characters like Gacy and Harlan have been killing it. Cora Jade, I couldn't be more excited about every time she's on TV. I'm loving what Toxic Attraction is doing as a whole, as a unit. But a lot of the kind of like peripherals around those things, like Tony D'Angelo, I think as a character is badass. But as far as like what he's doing, it's really static. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know how you find the character not static. It feels like, and I've watched it, like old timey and hacky.
yeah,
Like,
it's
and
funny.
not in a good way. It doesn't land like that to me. It lands just stale. I was like, cool. Like it lands like somebody doing a parody of a Goodfellas movie.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, so that will make me laugh because I think it's goofy. It reminds me of Don Stugotz, also a friend of the show. But when he's in ring, the actual wrestling is awesome. He's been doing great when he wrestles, but it's all the stuff around him that makes him like, I don't know what we're like. It's become static where it's all like the cheap laugh isn't quite there anymore, and you're not investing in more.
yes. Well, and when I see somebody who's got kind of a silly, dumb character, I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens here. But when they keep that weird, silly, dumb character and he's good in the ring, it breaks my brain. Like it's like, why? Why did you get stuck with this? It's, Kevin Nash is a fantastic big guy. Let's make him Oz.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of think when I see him. I'm like, this is odd. He could be something more. He could be a variation of the character in my eyes and something different, and it's off. Overall, to me, with NXT, what feels off is they have these one or two interesting segments, but the rest of it's kind of weird. And then also the stuff they keep trying to bury the old stuff, like Black and Gold, but then refer to it in a weird way and also just kind of stomp down what could be good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird mix. It's like a hot dog smoothie.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, like it's coasting in a way, right? Where like there's enough about the character that he's kind of funny enough and sort of a cheap laugh, but the issue is that it's not investing in much right now. So everything he's doing is just like, it doesn't mean as much. Like nothing's happening with him. Everything that we've seen of him is the same as the last thing we saw of him. He's tremendous in the ring and he's got a character figured out, but now we need that character to at least be attached to something. You know what I mean? Because at this point, he comes on and go, oh, well, at least I'm going to laugh during this segment. And then I will. And then he's gone. And I go, okay, well, now I'm back to the rest of the show. And again, like, it just doesn't, like, he does the same kind of, like you said, the same bit every week. So it's kind of like, it's become static. And that's what I mean. Like, for a character like that that's so well put together and so good in ring, you just want to see more of that. And I think maybe that's my problem. Maybe as you're helping me break it down, is I think so much of the stuff has been established that now we're just kind of statically walking through with the same kind of things. And it's like, no, let's start attaching things so I can have more than just this is our Italian guy. This is our Geico caveman. It
feels like a parody of the FBI.
Yeah.
Like, and
What a comparison.
yeah.
What? I didn't say who.
Doesn't matter.
Phantasma's back, yeah. Brian Rosa, Thunder Rosa's husband's in the YouTube chat saying, love the ref figures in the background.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, some of them are crazy cool. Like, that's the first ref figure that they made with Jax, but either way.
Well, are you going to get an Aubrey Edwards figure?
No. For one, it only comes with that crazy expensive ring.
Oh.
Like, it's strictly through there, but also, like, I mean, I've got Trish Stratus up there, and I think she's a more authoritarian ref, if I have to be honest, based off storyline alone.
I want a Paul Turner ref, senior official.
That'd be cool.
AEW. Shout out to Paul Turner.
That'd be cool. Justin Times in the chat, he does say, I like NXT 2.0, but I'm pretty sure I'm never going to love it like I did NXT Black and Gold, because it has that feeling like it's a third main roster show, which we know how hit and miss the main roster can be. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe just can you coast? Maybe it's part of the training thing at this point too. Can your character coast and stay relevant? Because that does happen on the main roster. I mean, that's a legitimate thing.
But
Look at Ricochet.
But it feels like the whole show is coasting.
Yeah.
And that's what's rough is, I think, maybe a character can have a pause or, okay, this is good, let's retool it a bit, give you a little bit of time to change things up. But 2 hours of coasting a week.
Maybe we're just seeing a big shift in maybe so maybe what we saw in the beginning was an injection of all the new talent and characters and a big highlight, here we are. But now maybe what we're in is just past that is the transition of now we're transitioning away from all of the other stuff and into strictly this stuff. So maybe it's a bit of a transitional static period in general. Like we just lost Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
I agree with staples.
I agree with that. Like it feels like we're trying to introduce all the new people. We're trying to put in these people who are going to be big and important to you, but right now it's kind of establishing them. What I find difficult with it though is then you have it with these very like we're building a tent and we're using Tommaso Ciampa as our post, but a lot of other people that could be structural to assist we're letting just sit on the wayside, or we're putting them in weird spots, or we're not. I mean, like when I look at Eli Drake, I'm like, what the fuck happened? That one, like that's the one like where, okay, I'm not saying we need to continue the exact feud with Cameron Grimes, but I feel both of these guys were doing so much better, and it was a feud that was kind of a similar tenor to this new version of NXT. So why aren't we doing it or something?
It does feel a little like
yeah.
So we cleaned up Cameron Grimes. So
yeah, he looks good.
I've never seen
also.
I haven't seen him look better in a long time.
Like I don't know why the Von Wagner win didn't feel bigger. It should have felt big. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly could have been and should have been one of the next champions at one point before the big shift. You know what I mean? That incredible feud with Balor and all. But Van Wagner won this match and it didn't feel like a big thing. Didn't feel like a big deal. I feel like it should have felt that way.
Well, when we got Kyle the hipster, after all of this stuff, it was like, what? So that's nothing that's, not expected.
Yeah.
But like I said, there was something about 2.0 that I just did not like. And even to this day, I mean, I do love to see Toxic Attraction and Cora Jade and, Legato still, but there's nothing where's my LA Knight? Where's my, let me talk to you. It feels like weird not really hearing him,
and like Klump said, LA Knight fits this version of NXT so much better than the last version. He stuck out in a weird way where here he feels like his being in the War Games on the Black and Gold team was weird to me.
Yeah. He could be king of damn NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, he could absolutely be in the Ciampa spot.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't LA Knight the top of NXT 2.0 and people have to build towards him?
I don't know.
That's what I would do.
Because all of these characters I just don't like. I mean, I don't even bother to learn their names, so I don't even know. The dude with the guy that's like a teacher, that's stupid.
Dude, I get him confused all the time. So Andre Chase, Grayson Waller, and Duke Hudson? I get confused all the time.
Yeah, I don't even know who's who.
Yeah, I get them mixed up so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and then what you're doing to grizzled young vets? I'm sorry. What is this
That's
bullshit?
weird.
I mean, come on.
I don't know what Carmelo's doing with Dexter.
Nope. It's just no. And sometimes I feel like, because I don't watch it live. I do try to watch Dynamite live.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Because people spoil it. And yesterday I asked no spoilers. So, You know what, everybody? Big middle finger. Every one of you who spoiled it. I'm not going to name names, but it was quite a few of you.
That's funny.
But it's like NXT doesn't give me a reason why, I need to see it live now. It doesn't. It did with Black and Gold, when I started watching it. Because you know me, I was like, nah, WWE isn't my thing. And I got into it. Now it's like, okay, what is this shit? It's like, I didn't sign up for this, but, it's weird.
Grim Reaper does say, I was actually waiting for LA Knight to turn on his own team. Yeah, there was part of me that just didn't understand.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like his little spot with Waller that they did have, where Waller's hitting on that girl, and then she's like, I'm here with him, and it's LA Knight. And he just talked some shit and drove off. That was funny for what it was. But, like, yeah, I don't understand why LA Knight's the whole show's not built around him the way that the whole show used to be built around Adam Cole. I think that he's perfect for NXT 2.0.
I guess maybe
that's the point, is you want the top to outshine everyone, and then everyone else build their way up to where you go, oh, they belong here. Like, look at how they did with Liv Morgan. She was being outshined by everyone for a long time, and she worked her way towards these stories. She ends up in a story back and forth with Becky, and suddenly you go, wait, she's going toe to toe with Becky, and it makes sense. Like, that's the idea. But I don't know. I mean, Braun Breaker's fucking cool. I like everything he's up to. But I don't know. Maybe I think maybe it's just that transitional thing. But as we talk about transitions, Johnny Gargano came out to address the NXT universe, gave a heartfelt speech from the heart, as Vic Joseph said, and said he doesn't know what's next. And he said, but if you bet on yourself, you'll never fail. At first, if I'm being honest, there was part of me, especially when Grayson Waller comes in at the end, beats the shit out of him with a chair, throws him through a table, and says, it's my NXT now. Fuck your couch. There was part of me that thought, hey, maybe this is a great time to do a transition here where Gargano, everyone talked about it in the dirt sheets, how his contract's coming up, he hasn't re-signed, you did a small extension. Maybe you give him, maybe he just doesn't sign his contract, or maybe you just tell the dirt sheets he didn't. Maybe he takes time to go be with his wife as she's about to have a baby. Maybe he comes back in 6 months, you know what I mean? Or maybe he signed and comes back later. Maybe it's all kayfabe. Maybe it's just part of the story. But all the photos that were coming out after the show went off the air with Kyle and Ciampa, and just the way Gargano was crying, it wasn't just a dude who was like, who'd made a decision he's really happy with, and he was crying because he was so happy, but he's going to miss everyone. He looked like somebody who can't believe that this is how it's going to end. Can't believe that this is it.
Yeah, it was a breakup cry.
It looked like a breakup cry.
You guys just got dumped.
Yeah. Like NXT just walked out on him and took the dog. It made me wonder if what we're really seeing is Gargano is leaving. What was it? Sean Ross put out today that at midnight tonight, his contract will be officially expired, and doesn't look like he's re-signing at this time, but whatever, who knows? But what if the conversation he was having as his contract was coming closer and closer to an end became, there are no real plans for you, man. You can re-sign because they'll offer you a contract, but there is not a giant future here, realistically.
He's too small for the main roster.
And he's not needed as a coach, potentially. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's all like, look, we'll use you as long as you'll resign for as long as we'll use you, but look, this isn't going the way that it maybe could have once gone.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it came down to that mutual discussion of like, we don't think you should resign, but we'll offer you a contract. You know what I mean? Like,
just take our money. No.
Like, do you really want to be an NXT lifer when NXT is moving away from your brand?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels a lot like the end of Gargano in that sense, and I think that it'll probably pop up somewhere else. But I'm not thinking it's kayfabe, because I know that's one of the conversations going around too. Is it not real and all? I think this one I'm thinking is real. Just in time says, I said it last night. Sucks to see him go, but he's done everything in NXT and he has no interest in the main roster. So why stay when there's nothing left for him? Yeah, because he always said that too. He didn't want to be on there.
Where would he go?
What?
Like, what would he do there? He's too small. Like, and I'm not saying this to be an asshole to him. He's too small. He's just in a really unique spot.
Yeah.
He truly would do better in other places. He'd probably do fantastic in Japan. He'd do great in AEW. He's not I've loved his stuff. It's only really been in the last year that I've been like, wow, I really don't give a shit about any of this.
Yeah, it took a while to get to that point where just certain things, right? I don't know. I do feel like all of his comedy stuff was not as good as his serious stuff. I did feel like his initial run with Ciampa all the way through to the first Ciampa title win was good. I don't think he's bad. I just also know he's not my flavor, not my style. Like, his matches don't do it for me. But I know that regardless of me, it's not all about me. IWC, get that in your brains. It's not always about you. He's got a huge fan base, and people love him. I think he absolutely will be more successful somewhere else. I think he'll only be frustrated. Grim Reaper does say there's a picture of Johnny and Ciampa sitting in the ring, and it looked like Ciampa was kind of consoling Johnny. Like, this is not Johnny's decision or decision he wanted to make. That's kind of the impression I got too. Is that, yeah, it really didn't look like Johnny was like, hey. It says, Just in Time does say, the shitty thing is, I sadly think Ciampa is going to be leaving next. That one I don't know about. I don't think that's true. I think that you're going to see Ciampa lose the title and have a farewell, and I think he's going to become a full-time coach. I think he wants to stay in NXT, but he doesn't want to wrestle anymore.
Could be.
I think he's ready to retire. I don't think Gargano's ready to retire. And I think Ciampa's ready to retire, but still be helping backstage. Michelle in chat says, I could totally see him as a coach, and Ciampa seemed fine. Yep. But yeah, what do you guys think? My first thought when I saw Gargano leaving, nah. Hey.
So mean.
Getting that carrying cross.
Yeah. Don't let the doorknob hit you.
So mean. So mean.
It was shocking at the end of that promo how Grayson Waller came out and turned babyface in this house. Just cheering. Kick his ass!
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, it was tough because part of one of the things he said was he said change is scary, and he goes, but sometimes it's something you have to do.
He definitely seems scared.
And I was, yeah, he definitely seemed nervous. He definitely seemed scared. He definitely feels like he doesn't know what's next. But I also think that he was smart enough to save his money.
Welcome to fatherhood.
Yeah, welcome to being a dad. It's all scary from here on out.
Yeah.
Nothing feels like the right decision ever again. Klump, what do you think? Do you think he'll be in AEW? I feel like he's tailor-made for AEW. I really do.
He is. But I think it'll be funny because if he goes, what are you gonna do with him? I don't know what's gonna happen, and I feel bad. Like I think he's gonna be kind of screwed, you know.
He'll definitely get lost in the shuffle, at least for a while. But I think that he's kind of more geared towards that fandom. I think that fandom would take him in a second. Oh, you know what I just realized is going to be a huge problem now that they're both released? You basically have two Johnny Wrestlings out there.
Oh, yeah, I thought that a long time ago.
Yeah, because now you got Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover, and Johnny Nitro, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Mundo.
It's a lot of Johnny.
Yeah, but
got a
Johnny,
lot of-
Johnny insert his name though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like No, but he's like a chameleon. Okay.
Yeah.
No matter what he ends up doing, he's beloved by a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I think more so than Gargano. And I think that when he resurfaces, which I really hope he is, because that thing he wrote on his Instagram, I was like, no, Johnny, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, because he's far from, like, look at he's so in shape. He's more in shape than probably some of the dudes who are like half his age,
Yeah.
And that's sad. But, I mean, I don't want him to go. And I really hope that him and Taya are a package. And it's good to see that she's actually doing her first show is going to be in Mexico. So I thought that was very, very fitting for her too. So I saw that yesterday. No. Good for her.
Yeah, 100%. And then I also saw yesterday or today, Scarlett stated that Cross landed a big movie role, so you could see what happens there too. But
wow, that was something you weren't expecting that, because didn't you want other people to go Hollywood?
Yeah, but I think a lot of good people out of WWE go Hollywood, and I think Cross could fit in Hollywood just fine.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, Johnny Morrison goes by anything basically Johnny Wrestling, and now you have Johnny Gargano, who's also Johnny Wrestling. Although when Morrison came through Tucson Klump, he was Johnny Cactus. He was booked as Johnny Cactus. It was so good.
Why was he booked as Johnny Cactus?
That's all we have here.
Yeah, we don't have much else.
Tumbleweed?
The promotion that booked him was Cactus League Wrestling, so he was Johnny Cactus. He takes on usually the moniker of whatever company he's in, except
It
for
could have
Johnny
been
Mundo.
it's that or Johnny homeless person from California.
Yeah,
We have a lot of that too.
Johnny
Yeah,
Dropout.
No. Well, when I went to see Pro Wrestling Revolver in Iowa, shout out to Sammy Callahan, he runs a great promotion. Johnny was there, but he wasn't John Morrison that day, or Johnny whatever, insert your name. He was Boone the Bounty Hunter.
Nice.
That one.
Nice.
It was amazing. And again, I swear to God, if you've not seen that movie, it's a great movie.
I've heard it's actually
Seriously.
fantastic. I've heard it's actually very, very good.
Dude, I've seen it like 7 times now. Okay. It's better than any WWE film. Okay. And I've seen quite a few of them, so.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But yeah. Just in time to say he can go back to PWG.
No.
Sure.
Why are you doing that to me, Justin? Why? No.
Yeah.
He's boring in PWG. No. If there's anybody I want to go back to PWG, is heavyweight Trent Beretta.
Oh.
Yeah, he had some great matches.
Yeah. But
Or the king of PWG. Get rid of Cameron Grimes. Let him go back and do whatever. Because
I think Cameron Grimes could be good on the main roster. I think he could fit in there like a Sami Zayn does.
I think so too. I mean, he's that great. And so I mean, who knows? But he is the king of PWG though. He was the one of the modern, indie wrestling people who've gotten plucked. He was there the longest.
Yeah.
And he never got the belt. He was always screwed over. He got screwed over at Ebola. 2 years in a row.
Just time to say, come on, Amanda, let's see you at one of their shows chanting Johnny Wrestling.
No.
I have a Johnny Takeover shirt, I think, if somebody wants it. I think it's a 2X.
No, I mean, I wouldn't not cheer for him. But also would depend on who he was wrestling. But
No, that's true.
I'm loyal to those that I'm loyal to. But I will say, so far with the 4 entrants, it's very interesting. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Gresham again, probably Jeff Cobb, Brody King. I had one that I really was hoping for, but someone's a diva, and I was like, they're not gonna pay my rate. And I'm like, you know what, dude? There's gonna be a time when, yeah, you're gonna have to bite the bullet.
Is that Braun Strowman? Is that Braun Strowman?
No,
Is it Braun Strowman's rate?
no.
Melon Medley.
They don't even have that.
I know. These other ones don't sound normal. I wonder if there's like a secret menu. Because they tell you they'll make whatever you want. They'll put whatever flavors in the drinks. So I wonder if you asked for a melon medley, if they'd be like secret menu in and out style. You know what I mean?
Did I? Yeah, you guys froze.
But what?
Amanda said we froze.
Yeah, you froze on my end.
She's wrong.
Then again, I have really crappy internet right now. I have to figure out why
That's a good point.
my Ethernet's not working.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that though, kidding aside, making fun of Gargano for leaving, I will say that there is part of me that's I'm not totally brokenhearted about it. I think he'll be very successful.
Yes.
I have not enjoyed his skits in the past year and a half. So for me personally, I'm not like, oh no, what are we gonna do? I'm thinking this is a positive thing for the product in some senses. But I will say that when I first started really getting into NXT, Gargano was one of the guys that I was like, this guy, he's my dude, he's my new underdog, he was my new Sami Zayn. He just got his ass kicked too hard too many times where I thought, all right, I'm not cheering for a loser anymore. You know what I mean? He literally lost a match to Ciampa, who had his hands cuffed behind his back.
Oh, that's right.
I wasn't watching Pete Dunne for a long time because I hated watching him lose.
Yeah, there was a long time producer didn't like Pete Dunne because every time he came on, he just came out and got his ass kicked.
I liked him. I just didn't
Yeah.
like his...
So she's like, "Why am I going to cheer this guy? He's a loser," and walked out. And I was like, "Ah, come on, he's good." And she's like, "He loses." And I was like,
I know
"Ah."
he's good. That was a frustrating bit.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
prove me
this is a good
wrong.
group.
No, stop.
Prove me wrong.
Okay.
But I think that there's a lot of stuff. So Aiden English had a pretty cool, he doesn't go by that anymore, but that's what I call him. He had a really cool tweet where he said he's really excited that we're in a time frame now where leaving the WWE doesn't mean it's the end of your career. A lot of times it's the transitional phase. Cardona tweeted out the other day, he said WWE was my developmental, and tweeted out about all the stuff he did this past year.
If he's not Ebola, I'm sorry.
You pissed?
It's a waste. I'd be
Yeah.
pissed.
He just came out and he just fucking knocked the shit out of Trevor Murdoch. We're gonna have Cardona Trevor Murdoch soon over the
I
NWA
know.
title.
I saw that. I was like, okay, when NWA is more exciting than NXT, that's what I'm saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, Cardona and Trevor Murdoch are both ex-WWE guys, so. But I do think that there's something to that there is. We're in a realm right now where these people have places to go. It's not like it used to be where it's like, oh no, this person got fired, they'll never wrestle again. Or it'll be sad to see them in a meet and greet just panhandling. It's not like that anymore. And I think that that's a fantastic thing. These are people who were given an opportunity to have mass quantity of eyes on them. So now they can go on and continue to make money doing those other things. I do think, though, Sam Adonis put out a tweet not that long ago saying that not everybody has it in them or wants it, and says that there's, out of the class he came in with, all of them had been released at one point, and he's the only one he knows of that's still wrestling. He goes, some people just fade into obscurity. And goes, some people don't want it that bad or don't love it that much, and that's also okay. And I think that's a very real thing too. I mean, there's a few people who got released. More than a few. There's that list of people who got released that Denise Salcedo and Sean Ross Sapp love to put out there every time someone gets released. This is just absurd. And there's like 200 names on the list since in the past like 2 or 3 years who got let go by WWE or released or whatever you want to say. Fired.
I mean, it is a fuckload of people.
It is,
Yeah.
but my point is, how many of them are still wrestling, and whose fault is it?
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
No one's stopping any of them from getting these bookings. The Ascension, I've seen them booked on one show since then, and it was a small flyer. Do you think that there's no room for them as a tag team anywhere in all of this indie wrestling that's happening? No.
Yes.
You think there's no room? Yeah.
100%. They did. I will say this: the Ascension had the best, or one of the best theme entrances, music-wise, of the past 10 years. Absolutely loved their theme. It was just the best. But no,
Yeah. I'm just saying that I don't think that the issue comes down to, and then also at that point, whose fault is that? Whose responsibility is it? You know what I mean? If you're not useful to WWE, does it matter? And if you never wrestle again, is that their fault?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's fair.
I mean, I was repairing iPhones before I ever worked at Apple. And since I left Apple, I've repaired Apple computers still because I like to do that from time to time. They can't stop me because I don't work there. You know what I mean? So you can do it.
Not yet, at least.
Ooh.
I'm
Legal
kidding. I'm
breaches.
kidding.
Legal breaches. I'm just saying it's not WWE's fault, and not everybody wants to do it for their whole life. Just because we're fans of them for life, doesn't mean that that's what they want to do. No one's stopping Ronda Rousey from wrestling. She doesn't want to.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
agree.
nothing wrong with it.
I do agree with you. Yeah, it's just I think we get stuck on it, but it's it's up to them to choose what they want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Although I do think that Trevor Murdoch should be getting paid 6 times the amount he's getting paid now.
He anything to make it so that he doesn't have to like unload trucks for an actual job.
That's what I'm saying. Trevor
Yeah.
Murdoch is so goddamn good for so long, and he's your NWA World Champion. If I see that dude in a goddamn warehouse one more time, somebody do something.
Yeah.
But
But what's really interesting to me is I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that he got it. All this, gave it to him. That was very surprising, but it's a
It
great
was.
thing, I think, because Trevor.
what do you think is going to happen with Aldis next?
I don't know.
Do you think he's going to stay in NWA and not be the champion, or do you think that he was releasing the title so he could start putting out feelers?
I think with him that if what the rumors I've heard are true, because someone is thinking that Billy Corgan might be the one that's going to resurrect ROH. We'll see. That could be why he sticks around, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
they've had that working, relationship for quite a while now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's the only thing. But I kept seeing that, and I'm like, I wouldn't put it past Billy Corgan to do that. So
Yeah,
because if not, ROH is dead.
Yeah.
it definitely feels that way. Yeah, so I hear you.
But
Got you
ROH
there.
was dead to me a year ago, so it's okay. See what happens.
They're dead to me.
I boycotted your
Well.
product.
Hey, once
You
LA
gave me
Knight
what
showed
I
up on
wanted.
NXT, I was like, oh, I never have to watch NWA again.
Oh,
No. And then they lost Thunder Rosa. So,
well,
Fuck them. Yeah.
yeah, see, Klump's got it.
you know what? That was probably the best thing that they could ever do. And they don't even have Serena Deeb anymore. So,
I do think there's some suspicious stuff going on with the Forbidden Door that nobody's talking about.
yeah, there's a lot of shit with the Forbidden Door that nobody's talking about.
Our theory?
It's not
I don't know that I
great.
have a theory, but they're clearly closing the fucking door on a lot of people. They don't have a partnership
yeah.
with Impact anymore. They don't do anything with NWA at all.
Yep.
They've never had any kind of relationship with MLW. This whole
They did that
Forbidden
weak
Door
little
thing, I think there's
propaganda. It's propaganda.
Propaganda.
Seriously, it's propaganda.
That's
know?
probably the way to say it. I'll be honest.
You know,
Conspiracy theories and propaganda.
Tony Khan, I'm on to you. It's propaganda, man. Propaganda.
Yeah.
Okay. Only reason why I'm saying that is it's like, look what's happened. Okay.
Yeah.
He's plucked people from the indies too.
Yep.
Okay. We can't always say, oh, you know, Vince plucked all the people. What do you think Tony Khan did?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he use a lot of those ones he plucked from the indies?
No.
Not really. No.
Did we
Just tell
talk
me the
about
last
it?
time-
What do you guys think about Big Swole not re-signing?
See, there, I'm talking.
Wasn't that in part due to Crohn's though?
No.
That's not what I saw, but I don't know.
No.
I mean,
I
I didn't
don't
ask
know.
her. She said that she put it had a sit down with
Tony.
Tony and higher execs, and they came to the mutual decision that it would be best for her to not sign with the company again.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
don't-
She didn't use the word medical, but it could be. She doesn't owe me shit. She doesn't owe me an explanation. We've been through
Yeah.
that. But just from face value, it sounds like they sat down and they're all like, we're not going to use you.
Yeah.
And we really don't want to pay you,
That's
but we don't
sad.
want to look bad in the press.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like to me.
That's so sad.
I feel like there was a not sign on bonus, if you know what I mean.
Well, you saw, I mean, she was pretty unhappy if you looked at her Twitter about
Yeah.
a lot of things. And then when she finally came back and was wrestling, yeah, there was still like bitterness,
Yep.
you know. It's like the problem, and I've said this before, I think I said it on episode 1. The problem is that a lot of these people, men and women, are getting a lot of promises told to them that are not coming into fruition. So, my theory is that everything that is going on, the Forbidden Door and whatever, getting people excited about that, getting these wrestlers excited to come and work for you, and you promise them the world, and you give them a bag of shit. It's propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Yep.
I'm onto it. But yeah, I don't. It's cool to sip the Kool-Aid. There's nothing wrong with sipping the Kool-Aid. But if you get to the point where you're really believing that, oh yeah, I believe it, and you keep getting screwed over,
Yeah.
there's going to be a point where you're like, this Kool-Aid ain't very good. I should have just had Hawaiian Punch from the bottle.
This Kool-Aid's got some turds in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ain't nice.
Uh-uh.
Jeremiah in the chat says, I figure out how I know or why I know about AEW. It comes on before the NHL on TNT. That's how I see my promos. Yeah, that makes sense. He sees the tail end of every episode.
Oh, okay, I do want to shit on this. He brought up something. I can't watch AEW because they play the NHL game live, both coasts, right? Which I get. I'm a hockey fan. I understand that. There's no fucking way to watch it because they won't put it on the next day. I have to watch a week back. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I've already, I can't be the only one, but as a fan, I'd like to not be a week behind on my shows. As somebody who kind of does this as my charity, I really need to not be a week behind my shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only way I'm able to get it at all is Hulu Live allows me to record it on my Hulu DVR. But if I have traditional Hulu, I'm not getting it.
Uh-huh.
And if you have the TNT app, they don't save it there either. Hulu Live is the only way that I have it right now.
Well, I watch it illegally.
Well,
Well, shit.
Yeah. And even if I did, I would, because people spoil things.
Yeah. Let's see. The Beard is in the chat. Says, did you see Jericho was hospitalized tonight for a non-related COVID illness?
What?
And he says,
A non-COVID related illness.
Yeah. Is it lungs? Is it wonky
Great.
lungs?
Great. Now we're not going to have the cruise. But that's okay, because I'll go to Dallas.
Oh. And then he also says, I can't watch AEW either, Crybaby Klump, but not for the same reason.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume just doesn't want to watch it.
yeah.
You know,
Faftina says
don't want
dumbass.
to watch it. Yeah.
Bandito also tested positive as well.
God damn it.
I was supposed to see Bandito tomorrow. Wait a minute. Whoa.
Oh yeah, you're not seeing
Whoa.
Bandito tomorrow. He's off that
Yes,
card.
I'm not seeing Bandito at all tomorrow. I wonder who I'm going to see. Let's see. Here, hold on. Yes, tomorrow. Here's another promo. If you got IWTV, the Internet Wrestling TV, you can see an amazing card by West Coast Pro Wrestling. You'll probably see me like freak out in the front row because this is the first time I get to see Alex Shelley. And I'm so excited. You don't even know. Fangirl moment. Okay, let's see here.
Splinter Fox in the chat. Cheers, Splinter Fox. Says LOL. Right away, I hear bashing. Yeah, but it was on
We've been doing
Jericho.
it
Yeah,
all night. Where
dude, we
is
bashed
it?
on NXT for a while too. You missed that. You would have loved it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you missed Thunder Rosa came through the chat and was talking with us for a little bit. That's so.
Yeah.
But if
see
you-
what missed?
If you watch this and don't understand that Jericho is going to immediately be like followed by just vitriol, that's on you.
Yeah,
Like,
they can make. Did you see Jericho won an award? Like, oh, what a fucking piece of shit award.
biggest
Oh.
dick of the year, not actual.
Mm-hmm.
It was Bandito and ACH.
Oh, that was the one you wanted.
Well, Alex, this whole card is great. I wonder if Flip is working. I'd love to see Flip. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
That's my buddy.
Splinter Fox is freaking out. Yeah, Thunder Rosa jumped in through the YouTube chat. She was on our YouTube live chat.
Yep. She retweeted us.
And then she was tweeting about us, and it was insane, and we didn't know how the hell that just happened to
She
us.
did it from my account. And then all these people from Texas all of a sudden started following me.
Yo, that happened to mine
Shout
too.
out to y'all. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to that too. I didn't know if you guys are blowing up too, but she did that.
Yeah.
And then I just started getting all these alerts and getting follows and stuff, and I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh.
Like my following, I'm very controversial. So I drop, like ever since I tried to get to 1800, I drop and I go back up. But I don't care. You know, I'm not one of these people. Oh, I want to be at 2000. Nah, I want a check mark. That's
I
what
want to
I
have
want.
10.
Yeah, we should put out a thing. Can we get my buddy to 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want 10 and to not have most of them be in Mandarin regarding parts for fake Rolex submariners.
There you go.
Actually,
If you're not
though,
following-
you got the big one though. You got the Hammerstone, and that was pretty
Yeah.
fucking cool.
That was pretty amazing, yes.
Yes.
That was pretty
He
fun.
did also reach out to me about a date just.
Is that a watch?
Yes.
Nice.
I'll see him tomorrow. He is wrestling Juicy Finale.
Woo.
That's another great one.
Let's see. Spinner Fox in the chat goes, LOL, why she should know y'all don't like AEW. Well, maybe she doesn't either.
I like
Yeah.
AEW.
And blocked.
Yeah, blocked.
I like AEW. You know.
Yeah.
I do.
Anyways, I love how Dante beat the shit out of a Dollar Tree rock. Oh, he's talking about Ricky Sharts. And then he says Thunder Rosa
Oh, come
love
on
and
now.
retweeted
Come
one
on
of my
now.
tweets.
I don't care what Dante did. Okay, that was fine. You know, he's a young kid. Whatever. What I care about is what motherfucking Phil did. And motherfucking Phil? No, I already don't like you, asshole. Hashtag
Tremendous
Phil.
news coming through right now. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Just in
Uh-oh.
time. Klump is currently at 29 followers. We did it, guys. We did it.
You did it.
We did it. We got to the 10.
Did Thunder Rosa follow you? She should have.
I'm
Girl,
Maybe.
you listen in again, you need to follow.
proud, honored, and I take full credit.
Actually, you should log in and just double check. She might have. She followed a bunch of us.
She might have.
No, Spinner Fox says Flip is not going to AEW.
Wait, who said that?
Spinner Fox says Flip's not going to AEW. He wouldn't know
Why wouldn't he go to AEW? Wouldn't he go to AEW?
because of the
Because you
heat.
got to remember, he was an integral part of BTE.
Yeah.
Don't you remember the where do you think you're going?
Yeah,
And the
but he thinks
yeah.
that Tony
Who the
Khan would
fuck
never
is-
hire somebody that he doesn't like
Why would he not like Flip Gordon?
because of the
I don't-
heat.
I don't like Flip Gordon.
See,
What heat?
I don't know. There was something controversial about him at one point. I don't remember
Oh,
what it
because
was.
he's a flat earther, and he does his cereal milk first. Leave Flip alone, okay?
But Splinter
I'm
Fox
sorry.
does say he would have already had. Like, if he was going to be there, he would be there.
No, because he was gonna stay with Marty at ROH.
Yeah.
And
that
he
ROH
signed a
thing is
longer
legit.
contract
Yeah.
before Marty was even announced doing that. And then he's just like, well, hey.
Then he got stuck
So yeah. And I mean, and then he got injured. So yeah.
there. Yeah, we'll see.
I know my
Now that
footboard
he's
history.
now that he's getting released, though, it definitely opens it up. Because I know that Flip was
It's not
definitely
released. Their whole company's gone kaput. I don't want
Yeah.
to call it a release. It's more of a bye.
no,
That's
because the
what we should-
company did not officially bankrupt. The company officially released all of its talent.
Oh, they did. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
They're still
Well, they're not-
technically around.
Yeah, but they're not going to come back.
Although Splinter Fox does ask you directly, Miss Amanda, what is the deal with the ROH stars? But it sounds like you're unsure.
Oh, with the as far as Splinter Fox, as far as like what's going to happen, the fate of ROH.
Yeah.
But the problem with ROH, and this is actually, it started, I don't want to say the Young Bucks are really the one that started, because it kind of was, they were there at the time too. But in the last like 4 years and stuff, they've gone downhill. It's slowly, it's snowballed. It wasn't until they did the big Madison Square Garden show that, talk about forbidden doors, and you had New Japan was partnering with them with that. That was awful. They disrespected New Japan, and you can't recover from that. I mean, still at this day, people still talk about that, and it's kind of funky. They kind of got what they deserved. They're another company that gave promises to people that they never kept, because there's a certain person that I like that doesn't like Phil, who was promised the ROH title to come back, because he had never won it when he was there. Did he get it? No. No. What he got to do was he got to set up Adam Cole joining the Bullet Club. I was there. I was pissed because he had Lethal. But anyways, yeah, no, Lethal's fine. I mean, he's done whatever.
Well, he's signed with AEW now.
Yeah, he's fine. Brody King is fine. I mean, he's been New Japan, and most likely than not, if anything, he's fine doing New Japan and being on the indies. He's
Do you
fine.
think now, because they said ROH is saying that they're going to come back in 4 months, let's say theoretically they do you think they're going to try and bring back the same roster, or do you think they're not? Because I think if they even do come back, they're not picking up the same guys.
They're not
Well,
getting anyone back.
Well, no, actually, I do think there are a couple, but they suck. So anyways, no, but he had a lot of these great luchadors. Bandito was signed, Roosh, Dragon Lee. I mean, Flamita. I mean, come on. Those guys aren't going to come back. No. Tony Khan was smart. He should freaking get Bandito. Bandito is amazing. Now I'm sad that I'm not going to see him in ACH. God damn it.
Yeah, he's got that
I have to
COVID.
get the COVID. Anyways, but the
Splinter
only
Fox-
people I
Go ahead.
see. Oh, I was going to say the only people I see that would probably come back would be Taven and Maria
I think-
Kanellis' husband.
Bennett. Yeah, I could see him. I could also see Danhausen coming back.
I don't know. Everyone wants a piece of Danhausen, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splinter Fox does say that Flip has a lot of indie bookings, and you would think that he would not have had that many. I think he's saying in regards to if he was going to sign with AEW. I think that you absolutely sign as many indie bookings as you can, so when the conversation comes up with Tony, you're showing your demand. Look, look, you didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, and during that 2 weeks, I just booked four dozen shows. Like, people want me, man. That's how you increase your value.
And not only that, too, with Flip, I'll add this to it, is I don't think the majority of the people who are on the ROH roster, I don't think some people were not allowed to, at first were not allowed to do indie dates. Then they let them do indie dates, but they couldn't sign anywhere. So I think that they gave exception to their golden child, Jay Lethal, because he's Jay Lethal. And, they coddled him for so many years that's why he did it. But people can say, oh no, but Brody was, doing New Japan. No, Brody King was part of the LA dojo before Shibata was there. So, you want to know? You can ask me.
Spinnerfox does say that he's digging Flip's current storyline where he lost his memory. Also says Rocky Romero has said NJPW and AEW may have kissed and made up. Chaos has the best friends. Says there are...
Oh my God, I could see Rocky Romero tomorrow too. Holy shit.
Yeah, maybe. There are show off there promoting their titles in other companies. I'm not sure what that was supposed to say.
No.
Sprinterfox says, damn, so that means that Dante Martin versus Bandito match for Warrior Wrestling this weekend is off then. That would have been a sick match. That could have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be pretty cool. Better than their main event. But
And then Justin Time says, speaking of Brody King, him and PCO teaming up again to face the Briscoes and GCW next Friday. Yeah, I saw that. That looks awesome.
Yes, that's awesome. I know they're not known as what they were known before together, but I think that's great.
And then Sportsbeard looks like he created a Twitch, said let's go, and then gifted out a load of subscriptions out. So cheers to Sportsbeard for coming through and buying some drinks. This rounds on the beard. And then he says, Splinter Fox does say Thunder versus Martinez match is going to be fire this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. It's on Saturday. We plugged that earlier, but yeah, it's going to be sick.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, that whole Flip Gordon storyline, that's like one of the best things that's happened in ROH in a very long time, I think. A lot of people think it's stupid, but remember, I loved that era of BTE. That was my era, and who didn't love Marty and Flip in Japan? I had that shirt. I loved that. That shit was great.
Yep.
Yes.
What's up, Klump?
Oh, I didn't. I was just raising my hand.
Oh yeah, who didn't love it? Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly, that's what I'm here for.
Sportsbeard says, I didn't create Twitch. I've had a Twitch for years. I don't know, man. It's hard to believe you. I already said it, and I got the official shirt on. I mean, I made a ruling. I called it the way I saw it. And then Sprinter Fox says, Thunder Rosa in GCW was amazing, and if he would go to AEW, Flip could have go so many ways.
What am I?
Yeah, I think it could be cool to have him over there. Heel face, like he says. I think there could be a lot there. There could be a lot. I also think Flip and PWG with like the or even GCW stuff with like the PCOs and Brody Kings and stuff could make for some interesting things. I know that Brody and the Villains broke up in their own way, but I don't think that doesn't mean that they could never work together again in some capacity, even if it's on opposite sides, and it could be interesting. But maybe not.
Yeah, no. I just love the fact that now, Flip actually, the last time he was supposed to be at PWG, I think, was he supposed to do Ebola? I don't remember, but he was injured. And I'm like so sad because I'm like, okay. And then they just never booked him again. Thanks, Super Dragon. Thanks a lot. But I'm loving the fact that at least, he's around again doing the indies. We're just waiting for him to come and do his like West Coast circuit because we used to book him out here like before he got really big. So, yep. That's why he's my buddy.
Anything you guys wanted to make sure we talked about before we have last call?
I'm good on my end.
Just remember, people. Everyone hears, they watch, they hear. And if you didn't get that from tonight's episode 1.
Yeah. A notable episode 1. Like, how funny is it we start the show saying IWC keeps showing their ass like people don't watch, and then says you just never know who's lurking, and you're like, the wrestlers are always lurking, and then an hour later, Thunder Rosa's all like, what's up, guys? Just coming through to watch for a while, and it's like, the fuck is this?
I'm pretty sure they're
have a goddamn stroke.
Yeah.
There probably were more too, but people want to go incognito, and that's cool. I respect that, mad respect. But we know that they do. I know that they do.
For all we know, Tony Khan watches every week and wants to say something, but then he's just like, "Nah, I'm good."
No, he gets
These
himself.
guys-
Fuck these guys. Fuck these guys.
These guys are really sweet. Oh.
My thing is, okay, Tony Khan already thinks I'm probably insane because I went up to him and name dropped Ricky, like when he was at, was it Ebola? I don't remember. But it was like the almost all AEW show of PWG. So it was like, oh, this is an AEW show in the West Coast, with exception of Bandito, Jeff Cobb, and what's his face? Gresham.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, and Brody King. Yeah. But, yeah, no. So,
Splinter Fox doesn't think that Flip, Kyle, or Johnny are going to AEW. He thinks none of them will.
Flip will. Remember when they did All Out, the first All Out, okay? Flip got in big trouble from ROH because he showed up there and was talking to everybody. And, and I'm pretty sure, and he's gone to a couple of events, but I'm pretty sure if any of those ones go, it's Flip.
You know what's interesting too? When I was at StarCast in Vegas,
wasn't he there?
I don't know. I never gave a shit about Flip Gordon if he was there or not. But what I did see was at the time the recently released Eli Drake, and he was schmoozing it up with a lot of the EVPs and such, and going around. And I was like, oh, maybe we see Eli Drake in AEW, and we never did. And I think
there's probably someone who blackballed him. I don't know.
I don't think it's that. I don't, but because it was also that was the first Double or Nothing. That was their first pay-per-view. They weren't big enough to they didn't have much of a roster.
There were only
It's true.
Yeah. It was their first thing. So you just never know, man. And you'll see the guys schmoozing and then nothing comes of it, or you see nobody schmoozing and all of a sudden this guy pops up. So I don't know. That's what makes it kind of fun. That's what makes wrestling exciting right now, is the fact there is so many places for people to just pop the fuck up. Look at Cardona and NWA. Justin Time says, I'm more than certain O'Reilly is going to AEW. It would make no sense if he didn't. That would be the weirdest thing if he didn't.
Yeah, 2 members of Undisputed Era are there.
What were
Unless
they
they're
called
gonna
before?
reform. We mean Red Dragon with him and Fish.
Yeah,
Unless
but the
they're
three of them were a unit on the Indies for a while as well, a 3-man unit. Where they weren't Undisputed Era at the time though. They got that branding in WWE, I thought.
No. Oh God. Hold on. Let me think about this one. Let me look it up too, because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, Splinter Fox does say, if they do Starks, you can suck it. And then it says, Will versus Trey. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Probably as a champion or something. He's got that fake little belt right now. And he didn't even win that blingy ring.
Yeah.
It says Will versus Trey versus Blake is going to be fire. I'm sure you're going to love that match. He goes, I would prefer more female talent in AEW, like Ember Moon, Taya, Nox. Yeah. I would love to see Johnny wrestling in AEW, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Kyle and Fish were the tag team if they listen in. Yeah, I wonder about Ember Moon too. I think also what's a neat narrative right now is that for a long time, if you left your indie promotion and went on to the big time, and then you came back to the indie promotion, it was seen as like you went back. Like it wasn't seen as you moved forward. And now it's like going back is now being discussed as though you've moved forward. And I just think it's an interesting dynamic to see, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, that makes sense.
Fab Tina says, I was wondering about Ember. She's been quiet, so I hope that she's okay. I wonder a lot about what's going on with her. She's definitely been radio silent, and I wonder if she wants to continue to wrestle. I thought by now we'd see her on Twitch doing some stuff. We have not.
I mean, it could be a lot of, I mean, understandably, if it is, there could be a lot of frustration there. Like, give some time. Just reset and think,
Yeah, she came back from that injury that could have been career-ending, and I thought that lit a fire. Splinter Fox has a good theory. Ember has been silent for a minute. Her social media, maybe winter is coming. You could do something cool with Ember Moon in winter.
Yeah, and if they don't give her snow, I'll be pissed, just so you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
You can't have winters coming without snow.
Yeah, I do wonder what the deal is going to be with winters coming. That just seems it seems tailor-made and built on the idea of big surprise person. So
In snow.
and snow, definitely snow in Florida.
No, it's
but
not in Florida. It's in Texas.
who snows? Nobody snows.
We don't snow.
We don't snow.
We snow.
If you snow, you snow. All right, guys.
Blushing. We're still
Yes.
blushing.
Still blushing. Splinter Fox says her gear would be amazing. A winter theme in AEW compared to WWE. Her fire gimmick. Yeah, I thought about that too. You'd have a nice dichotomy there. Instead of the red eyes, maybe a dark blue eyes. But I don't know. We'll see, guys. We will see and we will find out. And we will be back next week for a brand new episode 1. Thank you guys for coming through and having a drink with us. Oh man, Jane, what's going on?
Next week.
Episode 1. Next
You
week.
have to watch this.
What?
Well, I know one, but you have to watch Going Crazy.
I have to watch what?
The debut of Hook on AEW.
No, I'm not watching Hook. I don't give a shit about someone's baby. Hook's like 13, and he's gonna wrestle on Friday, and he's gonna win against their major jobber. It's Hook against Fuego del Sol, the jobber of jobbers. Fuego del Sol is there so a jobber can get a win. And now they're gonna put Hook in there. If it's anything longer than 2 moves, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Are we sure Fuego del Sol isn't Brian Myers?
He was trained by him.
He was
God damn it.
Yeah. Close
We
enough.
can see it.
Close enough.
Yeah. Trained by Al Snow and Brian Myers.
Ah.
King Jobber.
The illustrious winning careers of Al Snow.
Yeah. Spin Fox says,
Decked in gold.
I think I'm going to be disappointed in Hook. He has been overhyped. Yep. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not dying for it. I'll wait to see what happens. I'll see what they put on their socials. If it's longer than a couple moves, I just don't see how it could live up to a hype. I don't see how it's going to be. And to be honest, if he comes out there for his first match and has some sort of fucking 20-minute lucha match, it's also going to suck. He's in a really tough spot. He's in a real tough spot. If you do just a flat-out squash match, which I don't see often, it could make an impact. But people say, yeah, can he wrestle? If he goes out there and wrestles for a really long time, it's going to be kind of a lot real soon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll say this. None of the other members of Team Taz nor his father went up there. But Ricky is on commentary and so is Taz. So, yeah.
We'll see.
Yes. And I'm just grateful that we don't have to hear Jericho yell.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank God.
Yes. Massive improvement. Guys, Splinter Fox says, if Hooks squashes him, then it makes Miro look bad. Dude, they don't care about stuff like that.
They don't care about Miro.
You and I talk about stuff like that, and I bring it up, and everyone goes, you got your head up your ass. But I agree with you. If someone beats one person, that impacts the belief of how someone else could beat that same person. Yes. It means something when someone wins or someone struggles, which is why I have a problem with Cody and the way he wrestles. He fucking struggles every time. He barely wins matches, which leads me to believe he's not great. And you can call someone a dominant champion, but if they barely win matches a lot, they're not that dominant. They're just barely winning matches a lot.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think they give any shits about past matches on what they do with future matches. So, but cheers to you guys. Thank you for coming through and having a drink with us, your drinking buddies. I'm at Ref Marsh. Okay, Splinter Fox says, fuck Cody. If he wins the title again, I'm going to be pissed. Sam, you need to hold on to that title for a minute. Dude, I want Cody to win that title so bad because I know how much the entire fan base will hate it. I have like 2 Cody Road shirts. I'll wear them both at the same time if Cody wins that fucking shirt.
I only have one, so.
If he wins, I'll finish that fucking pop.
Yes. Spinner Fox says, fuck Brian too. Yeah, dude. Get it. Oh, Amanda Jane.
Yes.
Did you find out if Colt really lost his tooth for real?
He hasn't answered me about that.
Can you,
So-
if he lost it for real, can you get me the tooth?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
Danhausen.
I want something ring used, and what's more ring used than a Colt Cabana
No,
tooth?
You're not Danhausen.
Okay, if he wouldn't give it to me, he would not give it to you.
You already asked.
But
Yeah, you already asked
But-
for it.
no, I know. Even if I did, I would not ask for that. First of all, because I have a ring-worn jacket that he gave me.
That's cool.
That's a pretty infamous one.
So
If
you don't
see
need a
wrestling-
tooth.
Well, no, I don't need a tooth. But
Does
if
the
you've
jacket
ever
not
watched
have a
wrestling-
pocket? If the jacket has a
They have
pocket, you can put the
pockets.
tooth in it. Then you can put the
They
tooth
have
in the
po-
pocket.
Yeah, but that's kind of Danhausen territory, man. No, that's a little weird. I don't understand the teeth thing.
All right.
But I will say this: it was a very infamous jacket, and
Yeah.
a couple people were really mad and jealous that he gave me one, and it happened to be this one. It was the one he wore in Wrestling Road Diaries.
It's a YouTube jacket.
No, it was the one.
You know, this shirt's also YouTube worn.
Oh yeah, no. It was the one where he did it was Kikataru and Grado. Yeah, it was that one. The black one. He's worn one since that's like it, but it's not the same.
Okay. Spinfox does say,
It's
"Oh,
not
I think
like our
Danhausen is AEW bound. He has been hanging around with a lot of AEW talent. Thunder, MJF. He's even been co-signing with CM Punk too. Yeah, I think so too. I think they want. But the problem is, you got Danhausen. What are you going to do with Orange Cassidy? You can't have too many of pretty similar gimmicks. They're pretty
Well,
similar in a lot of
Orange
ways.
Cassidy's beloved by everybody. Not
The
necessarily.
whole fucking
me.
roster's beloved by everybody there, except for Cody.
No, that's not true. That's
Oh,
not true.
Spinfox says have them fight.
Yeah.
That'd actually be good, probably actually.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. Guys, thank you for coming in and having a drink. I'm at Ref Marsh. With me, as per usual, on Thursday Night Chaser, we have at Miss Amanda Jane
Oh my god.
and at Crybaby
Oh.
Klump.
Let's get off before he explodes. You guys have a good night.
And we are at WOTR The Show. We'll be back next week for brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. That's last call.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in to Drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.